A little moment of silence for Solomani. Uh-oh. A little echo there too. May peace be upon him. Piba, as they say. Piba.
Welcome back to the Crystal Crypt.
The Glass Gulag edition.
Fuck the elite, sucking up our energy and making us weak, polluting our planet while they blame it on we. Ain't gonna take it, fuck a gun. Confiscation gets the dumb populations to awake for this shit. Not anymore. The internet has opened up a secret door that's been hidden from humanity since way before. All the crystals in Atlantis at the ocean floor, we gone to a different dimension, made up of symbols and purely memetics, where only the soul is in different expressions, and only the boldest will dare to adventure. We gone, we gone, we gone, we gone, we gone, we gone, never coming back. We gone, we gone to the hollow earth. You could try to follow it, but you're already lost. You don't even know what time it is or what time even is. Do not lose your mind, cause it's kinda hard to find again. Everybody knows that reptilians glow in the dark, I'm a blowing and spark. Everyone knows that the CIA glows, so fuck the nose. As I hop into my UFO, puffin' the dro, hit up the alien chicks on my phone. Intergalactic is how we gon' roll. Nothing but stars out in front of us now. The spirit of Europe's about to break out. Nothing can stop the momentum of what is awakened. You can't shut it down. Shut it down. Oy vey, shut it down now. Censor and kill anyone who speaks out. So shut the fuck up, go, you better sit down. Yeah, we are the chosen and you are the cows. We rule the world while you slave it out. But not for long, it's a new age full of new rage. And a monster could lose weight cause it weighs a few million pounds. Yo, who ate all the cookies from the ovens? Like, wow. That was a lot of cookies. Not enough time and not really enough ovens to make them all. I don't get it. It ain't called hate when you love your nation, unless you live in clown world civilization, where up is down and the wrong is right and the war is peace in the Zionist matrix. They thought they had us trapped in the cube, but really they are locked in this box here with you. There is nothing that a motivated human can't do. Take a bite of this shroom and you might learn the truth. We are the knights of the king, bring the fight to his name. Add a little bit of stardust minus the fame, and you wake up from the matrix in amazement like, where have I been? Where have I been? Like, where have I been?
Who made that beat for Yoshi? That's fucking sick. I wonder where he got it. Alright, let's get into some stuff, guys. Let me turn down the... Tell me if the audio is alright. Fucking Zoom. Is that the not real meow? I am. Ultimate TV. Holy shit. We got some crazy stuff going on in the chat. Today I wanted to talk about something very near and dear to me. It is my foreskin. I'm not going to talk about my foreskin specifically, but foreskins in general. Listen up, Ultimate. You can't hijack the chat. This is important business, dude. We're talking foreskins. So foreskins. Well, let's see. Hopefully the audio is good. Let me check the audio real quick. Well, you guys got to hear the music a little bit. I turned up the music a little bit. I don't know how to make the camera stop doing this. I hope you guys aren't getting motion sick off of this. It's kind of ridiculous. Look at this. Yesterday's glass gulag. I made this cup. How dope is this cup? Giant cup. It can't fit that much liquid because it's too thin. Pretty dope cup. There's a lip. The lip is a little rough. Jesus Christ. It's not gonna let you look at it. There it is. My new cup. Some old water in there. Nice. Alright, anyways. Let me know, how's the audio? What's for the skin? Well, I'll tell you, if you're already circumcised, there's a number of things you can do. But we'll get into that right now. So, very impressive. Thank you. It's a big one. It's a big cup. Let's see here. Okay. The zooming is minimized now, at least. So, a lot of you guys have already seen the Eric Klopper video, I'm assuming. It's not really that viral. It's only got 100,000 views. But it's been spread around poll quite a bit. 157,000, and it has a few different versions out there. This is the one that Klopper uploaded himself. And alright, we're still good. I was checking if the country western theme is still coming in good, and it is. We're maintaining. I chose this theme because back in these country western times, the cowboy times, they weren't circumcising. They weren't cutting. They only, only the circumcised ones were cutting and sucking back in the day. It wasn't all Americans. Before Kellogg came along. Good old Kellogg. I boycott Kellogg. Don't eat Kellogg cereal. Because that fucker popularized circumcision in the West. Even among Christians and stuff. When you're not supposed to. Deuce X dropping red pills. Love that video game. Yeah, dude. I watched that scene that's in that playlist. I don't know who made this playlist. This Oy Vey. The Goyim No Shut It Down. But it's great. It has 105 videos. I got to here. Happy Merchant Dance. But this is amazing. Look at all these videos. We could spend so many streams just going through this playlist. I'm surprised some of them are still here. But this playlist brought this Klopper lecture back into my scope of view. So let's watch this real quick. Hopefully this works. Alright, I broke it down into different parts that I wanted to look at. So if you come here, this is my comments. Because he gets into some weird stuff. These are all the good bits. So this is the first part. This talks about circumcision being the most brutal form of hazing ever conceived, where you literally have to sacrifice a piece of your own body to not only to join the group against your will, but also it gives you further incentive to make others join the group. Pay forward the pain.
That hazing is just a malicious exercise of power. A fair number See, that's not exactly correct. See, hazing is an effective strategy if you want your fraternity to survive. See, hazing plays to an underlying psychological mechanism that enables group survival. See, what we do as humans is we ascribe value to the pain or suffering we endure as the price we pay to join a group or tribe. See, if you were just let into the fraternity, you could easily think, nah, and leave. However, after paying a great price in blood, sweat, tears, and body parts, you know it must be valuable. See, Judaic circumcision operates under that same psychological principle. See, ancient Judea was, and still is to a certain extent, an intensely patriarchal society. Male blood represented salvation, female blood represented filth, men ran everything. And nothing was more important to a man than his patriarchal lineage. And nothing represented his patriarchal lineage more than his son. Or even more specifically, his son's penis. So, to be accepted into this fraternity, the Jewish Brotherhood, fathers, likely younger than you, and far less educated, since this was thousands of years ago, were literally hazed into cutting off parts of their son's penis. You think college hazing is a problem? Circumcision is the most extreme form of hazing on the planet. And if you didn't do it, you were cut off from your people, which was effectively a death sentence. Yeah, we're going there. Now, Leonard Glick does a great job of summarizing circumcision in ancient Judea in his book. He says, in summary, the father offers his son's foreskin as a bloody sacrifice for what may have been a substitute for child sacrifice. He acknowledges for what may have been he declares acknowledgement of paternity, readiness to submit the child to a perilous procedure, avowal of sexual restraint of his own and his son in the future, and intention to raise him as a conforming member of the male-centered collective, and in summary, offers his submission to the elder's will. Whoa. Do you understand what this means? See, contrary to the popular narrative, circumcision was designed to mark us like cattle. Circumcision was designed to emasculate us like slaves. Circumcision was designed to damage us like we're not even human. That is what circumcision was designed to do. And all this talk about circumcision is not even the circumcision you'd recognize today. See, Judaism underwent an overhaul around 200 AD during a diasporic period. It was called the Rabbinic period, as rabbis redid everything to accommodate the needs of a more dispersed population. Now, when rabbis were redoing everything, they redid, you guessed it, the covenant of circumcision as well. See, around 200 AD, Jews didn't want to be circumcised back then either. So, what they would do is they would take their remnant foreskin and stretch it over the head of their penis, and over a period of time, they would look uncircumcised like a Gentile.
I was muted the whole time. I was talking about dicks the entire time. Sorry about that. Muted, big guy. Yeah, I just saw all that. LMAO muted. Yeah, big mute, dude. Big mute. I was saying, so what they were doing, they were these freaking ancient Jews, they were stretching the foreskin back over their wiener, and that was the first ever form of foreskin regeneration, which is something that a lot of people are doing now. Circumcised people, they're stretching out that skin back over the glands. Silent ramblings of a madman. Owen tier conversation. Yeah, I was pretty much just talking to myself about dicks right there for a second. Yeah, the past 5 minutes about what he's talking about is spot on. I'm just saying, these Jews, they didn't like being circumcised. They wanted to fit in, so they were stretching the skin back out to seem like they were Gentiles. And the rabbis got mad, so this is what he explains now.
Now this allowed Jews of ancient Greece to
This guy's Jewish, by the way.
better fit in with their Gentile peers, as many social events were done in the nude, whether they be public spas or athletic events or whatnot. Now, undoing the Holy Covenant was anathema to rabbinic authority. So rabbis took revenge. Rabbis took revenge. And to take their revenge, they radicalized the circumcision ritual, from just cutting off the overhanging tip of the foreskin to ablation of the entire tissue. So, the new circumcision ritual, the one that stands to this day, goes like this. And it's called the bris milah, which means the covenant of cutting. Sounds like a lovely thing to take your child to. Now, the first stage, which used to be the only stage, is called the milah, which means cutting. And here, the ritual circumciser named the moil will amputate the part of the foreskin that extends over the glands. If we take a look at this picture, that first dotted line is the original milah cut. And if we take a look at this picture, here's a moil cutting into the flesh of a newborn's genitals. Now the second stage, which was enacted as an act of rabbinic revenge, is called pariah, which means tearing. And here, the ritual circumciser will sharpen his fingernails and shred the infant's genital mucosa. If one shred of genital mucosa remained, it was deemed religiously invalid. And if we take a look at this picture, here we can see the modern-day pariah cut
Appropriate.
the American medical circumcision is modeled after.
Very
As we can see, it's
appropriate.
about an amputation of a half to a third of the external genitalia. And here we can see a moil using his sharpened fingernails to shred this infant's genital mucosa. Now this baby doesn't look like he's having a very good time, but I could be wrong. Now the third stage.
Klopper with the
third
off-color
stage,
jokes.
And I'm not making this up. You can read it in the ancient rabbinic text, the Mishnah, which is still followed to this day, is called mitzitza, which means sucking. And here, the ritual circumciser, after he shreds the infant's genitals with his fingernails, will take the baby's red, raw, and bleeding penis and put it in his mouth and suck on it. Now this is a modern-day picture of a moil performing mitzitza on this baby. He looks like he's having a great time. I'm not so sure about the infant, but again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Jesus Christ, Klopper. Is that really appropriate for what you're showing right now? This guy's telling dick-sucking jokes. Meanwhile, there's a baby getting his dick sucked on the screen. Why? Why? Dude, because Moloch needs his sacrifice. This is a sacrifice to Moloch. A lot of people believe, some anthropologists or historians believe that circumcision was actually a replacement for child sacrifice.
Now, if these seem like extreme acts of sexual violence to you, that is because they are, and they have real consequences. Here we have a baby who has contracted herpes after a moil has performed mitzitza on him. Now this baby is effectively brain dead for the rest of his life because this moil was satisfying an ancient act of rabbinic revenge. This article is from 2017, guys. This is not ancient history. It happens today.
Yeah, babies getting herpes from their moils, that happens a lot. It's absolutely fucking insane. And then they got connections, so they keep them from getting prosecuted.
Now to be fair, Metsitsa was largely abandoned in the 1840s because an influential German rabbi said, "You know what, guys? After we shred our infants' genitals with our fingernails, maybe we shouldn't suck on the bleeding penis afterwards." Good idea, Moses Sefer. Good idea.
Dude, even the German rabbis are based. You know? Thank God for Germany. Based German rabbis.
Now, this objective brutality is widely understood within the Jewish community itself, but most tribal members lack the testicular fortitude to stand up to our tribe. I actually got a text from a good Jewish friend of mine not long ago. He was attending a bris milah in New York City, and this was our conversation. The whole thing is so uncomfortable. The noise is the worst part. A lot of religious stuff, a lot of weird talk, very cultish, very uncomfortable. I mean, the father just looked at me and goes, "Yeah, it's barbaric." I mean, obviously, guys, obviously it's barbaric. It's called the Covenant of Cutting. It was designed to be barbaric. Now, to wrap up this Judaic tangent, although we'll come back, it's important to understand that Jews were largely discriminated and
Judaic
ostracized against
tangent.
throughout all history. Not exclusively, but largely because of their covenant of cutting. Largely because everyone and their mother knew that these were radical acts of sexual violence. And the thinking went, although it's untrue, it's not completely unreasonable, that if these people were doing this to their own children, could you imagine what they're doing to non-Jewish children?
Oh, blood libel,
Now,
by the way.
there's no evidence that suggests that this largely minority group that was often persecuted throughout history was brazen enough to kidnap non-Jewish children, but that didn't stop Gentiles from believing that they did. And that inspired prevailing myths called the blood libel, which...
Dude, this right here pisses me off about Klopper. Klopper right here. First of all, look at his t-shirt. This guy's wearing Einstein on his shirt for a big red flag because Einstein was a fraud and he stole all of his any of the influential stuff that he actually did put out that was actually like valid was stolen. E equals MC squared is a bunch of nonsense. The theory of relativity was just an excuse for the Michelson-Morley experiment, which was a legit experiment that proved that we're stationary and not moving. It proved that the ether is not moving and that the earth it actually isn't spinning. And Einstein was like, "Oh well, it's the theory of relativity. It's all relative, Goyim." That's all Einstein. And so that's all bullshit. And he's wearing his shirt and he's trying to tell me that blood libel isn't for real. Dude, blood libel is for real. And right now he's about to tell us that Simon of Trent, okay, that's who he's about to talk about right now. Simon of Trent, that photo of that baby who's being tortured by a bunch of Jews. We went over it a while ago. I'm pretty stationary as of late. Arvin, look up the Michelson-Morley experiment. They tried to prove that the ether, that we're moving through the ether, and that the ether is moving along with the spin of the earth, and they could not detect any movement. And they were like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Does this mean the earth isn't moving?" And the only reason that all the scientists couldn't concede and say that the earth is actually stationary is because Einstein and his bullshit theory of relativity, which is still just a theory. But this guy's about to try to dispel blood libel. Blood libel is for real. I looked into that. Watch.
There's a prevailing myth among Gentiles that that Jews would kidnap Christian children and circumcise and murder them. And now here we have a picture of one of these derogatory images. It was called the Murder of Trent. Inspired many pogroms.
Now the kid's name is Simon, and where this happened was Trent, Italy. And there was this colony, and this king let these Jews into the colony. Like, it was just one Jewish family, and so it was like 40 Jews in this, and they were all bankers and doctors, and they had their own house and their own like divided. They were pretty much their own little colony in this village, and they kidnapped a kid, ritually sacrificed him. And then one of the chefs found the body of the kid in the cellar. And he told the king's guards, and they fucking put like this whole family to death. This is that's historical fact that happened. There's like lots of records of that. He's trying to say that didn't happen. That was just a rumor, which is false. So, never trust one of these circumcised small hats. See, even Klopper, revealing all this truth about the tribe and their rituals, he's hiding blood libel.
Now note the emphasis on the circumcision. And that is because throughout almost all of Judeo-Christian history, Judaism was associated exclusively with circumcision. And that is because compared to all of the other religious rituals, that one was by far the most extreme by orders of magnitude. Now, to wrap up censored fact number 1, although it'll come back, it is irrefutably true that rabbis designed and implemented circumcision to damage Jewish children's sexuality. Now, this is a fact. It is an irrefutable fact. There are tombs of evidence to support this. Yes, it was done to mark us like cattle and to emasculate us like slaves, and as an act of submission to your father. But
what's up, Wasp?
To damage our sexuality in the most fundamental of ways for life was also a primary objective. Now, this justification is defended to this day by Orthodox rabbis. And remember, throughout all history, all rabbis were what we would consider Orthodox today.
Put your hands up.
About censored facts, I can't just come out and say them. I need to explain them. Brittany reminds me all the time. Now, moving on to censored fact.
Foreskin reparations. Hey, if we can meme it, if we could fucking meme it enough, we can make it happen. They're about to make reparations for these homies. Why can't we have some reparations for our cut up dicks? They were about to cut me up. They were about to cut me up, guys. Swear to God, this is why I'm so passionate about this. They were about to cut my ass up. But I was like, hold up. You ain't cutting me up, homeboy. If you have Netflix, watch a documentary called American Circumcision. And it talks about a bunch of different cases. And it has a lot of doctors, and it even has a lot of doctors who are pro-circumcision. And they're all demons. They're all demons, and you can see it in their eyes. I swear. Go watch it. Go watch that movie.
Number 2. This one is a little less controversial, and it's becoming even more widely known today. Even College Humor did a video about it. And quite honestly, they did a phenomenal job. I'm going to play the first 3 minutes.
I'm going to not play any of it. You guys have already seen that College Humor shit. Pause. Get that out of here. We'll go to the second part.
To clarify on camera, he says, and I quote, "In my practice, I like to sort of define it as a tribal custom. And if you belong to a tribe that does it, then you really want it." Well, I've got news for you, Andy. You are not a tribal practitioner. You are not a witch doctor. You are a medical doctor, or at least you're supposed to be. Now, here's my theory on this. Because this is false. They are objectively lying to us. My theory is this: that if the American Academy of Pediatrics got 8 borderline competent physicians in a room with understanding of basic penile anatomy and function, they would read a report like every other pediatric society in the world about neonatal circumcision, which is, it is medically unnecessary, it violates your fundamental human rights, and it damages your sexuality for life. Now, if the AAP were to write this report, as a society, we would begin to understand that amputating large functional parts of your child's reproductive organ is a bad idea. I can't believe I have to be up here saying this. No, if we were to understand this as a society,
What up, Gasparian?
We wouldn't allow anyone to circumcise any child under any pretense, including fulfilling ancient acts of rabbinic revenge. Meaning, the Holy Covenant would die, as it must, as it should have thousands of years ago.
Oy vey, how dare you, Goyim? Wash your mouth out with bleach. You can't say these things. We need Moshiach now.
Could you imagine? If this group of doctors got together and said, you know what? It's okay to circumcise females because of religious ideologies. Oh wait, what was that, Douglas Dikema? In 2010, you published on behalf of the American Academy of Pediatrics a recommendation in favor of female circumcision, titled Ritual Genital Cutting of Female Minors? Of course you did! Of course you did! Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? And his reasoning was, well, we respect the legitimacy of this tribal tradition. How could we not respect the legitimacy of this one? At least he's a logically consistent monster. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here we have a group of physicians who have actively deceived us, who are recommending an amputation on a child's sex organ that is both heinously violent and sexually damaging for life. How dare they? Do you understand the magnitude of this crime? How fucking dare they? Now this group should fear me. And they will fear me. Because
they fear the mighty Jew Klopper.
I am younger than them.
He's making some good points. Skip a little ahead.
Wrapping this whole thing together is we have a history of a small group of powerful and well-placed sexually violent ideologues.
How fucking dare they? Oh yeah, I like that part. How fucking dare they? He gets pretty animated.
Or ideological fanatics who, despite global condemnation, have censored the functions of the foreskin by creating a nonsensical recommendation.
D's nuts. What's up, my dude? A foreskin, you know, it's a lot of skin. It's like about, the average foreskin is about, 12 to 14 square inches. It's a lot of tissue. And they use that tissue for facial creams and shit. $400 per skin? That seems low, to be honest. I feel like it would be more, in the thousands, I hear they do harvest foreskins though, and they do sell them. Especially in South Korea, they use them for the face creams that what's her face was using. Sandra Bullock's. Oi, mate, Sandra Bullock's. It's Bullock's, mate.
Nation, which they have turned into an obfuscating lie, which they then peddle to a complicit and strangely ideologically homogenous U.S. media, who I'm sure is going to love me, who disseminates widespread information, creating this vicious fraud.
Notice what he said there. Let me try to back it up.
love me. Powerful and well-placed sexually violent ideologues, or ideological fanatics, who, despite global condemnation, have censored the functions of the foreskin by creating a nonsensical recommendation, which they have turned into an obfuscating lie, which they then peddle to a complicit and strangely ideologically homogenous US media.
Strangely ideologically homogenous US media. That is the most verbose way of saying Jewish that I've ever witnessed in my life. Strangely ideologically homogenous. What the fuck did he even say? I already forgot it. That was insane. That was insanely Jewish.
Who I'm sure is gonna love me, who disseminates widespread information, creating this vicious, fraudulent US echo chamber. It's all a lie. It's all a lie, guys. 100% of it is a lie. Circumcision is a disgusting lie. Why? Why would they do such a thing? I don't know. I have a few ideas. Maybe because they have damaged in the most sexually violent and fundamental of ways for life over 120 million men in this country. Do you understand the medical liability on that? It is in the trillions and trillions of dollars. Or maybe because they have raped American men of over 1 trillion erogenous nerve endings. Do you understand the pleasure potential that has been lost?
The pleasure potential that's been lost.
And what's it replaced with? It's replaced with rage. And that rage is embedded in our culture. Don't you see it? I do. Well, maybe it's to defend religious ideologies. Because that'd be a good idea. Because, oh man, would we look foolish? Would we look foolish if we were performing blood sacrifices in the 21st century? That would make us like a genital mutilation cult. But there's no way. There's no way we have genital mutilation cults in the 21st century, is there? Or you can't criticize them because we know they're retaliating. There's no universe where that could be a reality. Or maybe it's all for the money. Maybe it's all for the money. You realize they make billions with a B,
They don't care about the money.
billions of dollars a year harvesting our children's genitals? Harvesting my genitals, harvesting your genitals. It's the most evil thing I've ever heard. I could come up with something so evil if I tried. This may be theatrical, but it's legitimately fucking evil. And it will not rest until these industries are wiped off the face of the fucking planet. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a scientific document. It is a piece of government propaganda, authored by a small group of powerful and well-placed sexually violent ideologues, who have written this to conceal the truth that the American medical complex has damaged our sexuality for life, violated our fundamental human rights, and harvested our genitals for profit. It is all a fucking lie. Now, censored fact number 4. Oh, censored fact number 4. I love Rick. The complicit US media continues to force feed us the American Academy of Pediatrics circumcision recommendation, which is a blatant lie, unapologetically motivated by religious ideologies. Which ideologies? I don't know. Maybe the ones designed to damage you in the most fundamental of ways for life. Is it creating a clear picture for you? Is what this
Dude, it's pretty Chad. This guy is too confident. He fucking takes his shirt off in the middle of the lecture.
ideology has
And he also shows his pubes at the end, dude. Not cool. Kind of like, you know, let's keep it professional.
done to this country? God! It's like I'm living in a fucking crazy house. Now moving on to censored fact number 5. Because, you know, I need to strip the US of any remnants of moral authority it may claim to have. Let's summarize what we've learned, shall we? Now, I never touched on this argument earlier because it's insane, but circumcision advocates claim it's cleaner. Let me be clear. There's
Not
nothing
true,
intrinsically
not cleaner.
dirty about your penis or your vulva or your foreskin or your labia. You, nor your sexuality, nor your genitals are dirty. Your genitals are clean if you clean them. We are still shedding the vile Puritan beliefs that this country was founded on. We've been raised to believe that these radically abnormal and unhealthy sexual attitudes are in any way normal or acceptable. They are not. And then in this country, we have gross ignorance of normal unaltered genital anatomy, even among doctors and especially among doctors.
Dude, I was ridiculed when I told my friends that I wasn't cut in fucking high school. They're like, ew, dude, you got an anteater dick. Anteater dick. Thank God. Thank God now for my anteater dick, to be honest. Ah, loser. Yeah, that's how it felt, dude. I'm pretty sure I won't get copyright struck for this. I'm playing. It's all kosher. It's all kosher. I'm playing Red Dead Revolver music in the back. Pretty sure that's kosher.
The fact that doctors still circumcise today is a testament to their ignorance. And then in this country, we have delusions of normality.
Yeah, who's laughing now? These guys. Oh, I shouldn't even be laughing at them. They're poor, it's these poor fellows. My buddy, he was telling me how he has never had sex, or he's like, I think he's like needed lube to have sex every single time, like vaginal sex. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. Never once needed lube for regular sex. You only need lube for butt sex, and that is immoral. You shouldn't be doing that.
Supported by cultural terminology. Remember this picture? We would never call a woman uncircumcised, so too is a man not uncircumcised. This is just what the man comes with. It's a normal penis. See, what we are doing as a genital cutting culture is we are normalizing our abnormal penises that are missing both form and function, while simultaneously making normal men feel insecure about themselves.
Guys, it's wizardry. They're being wizards, guys. The words are wizardry. Uncircumcised is just normal, guys. Guys, this is how they use the wizard tricks, okay? This is why you need to feed the Big Bear, 737 Gig Harbor, Washington. Send me some money. Oh, he's live right now. Fuck, he's live in the middle of my foreskin lecture. I don't want to abandon this now, though. What nonsense is he talking about? We're doing so good, dude. We were on topic for so long. But Big Bear is live right now. What is this moron talking about?
If I had taken that route and said, by all intents and purposes, comedy's dead. Comedy Central has been overtaken by nihilists.
Dude, you're doing more to kill comedy than Comedy Central.
It's insane. It's legitimately bonkers. And then, in this country, we place religious blood rights,
Banned. You're banned, bud.
RITES, over fundamental human rights. And that's clear in all our government documents. We respect religious rights. Really, motherfucker?
We're talking
Because
about
I
Hollywood.
respect human rights. And I know from speaking to so many of us from our generation, that we find this fucking disgusting. This is a culty genital blood sacrifice. And that is not even a derogatory description, it is an accurate one.
We got a CBGS on our hands, folks. We got a culty genital blood sacrifice on our hands. I'm going to have to call this in. 69696 million. Calling it in, dispatcher. We got a 69696 million on our hands. 69696 million. A CGBS culty bloody a culty genital blood sacrifice.
What
I'm gonna need 2 Sham Rim officers on this stat.
history has taught us is, if we tolerate this, it is only one step away before we tolerate genital harvesting. And that is exactly what we found. It's promoted on irrelevant to erroneous medical claims. It is performed without consent or anesthesia, despite overwhelming evidence of irreparable physical, sexual, and psychological harm. It precludes the possibility of ever having a natural sexual experience. That is a profound loss. It is a profound loss. And for what? So the current generation of circumcised adults doesn't have to face the very unwelcome reality that we have been deprived of an essential human experience? So we deprive our children of that too? To maintain this lie? Do you understand how dehumanizing this is? Did you know that the entire civilized world looks upon us with disgust? And they should. They really fucking should.
We got the Jewish
I bet
police
you
on the
many
case,
countries, they cannot
boys. We got
believe
the
that we
Sham
perform
Rim on the
hideous sex
case.
crimes on our children. And then
Oy vey, what have I done? Sorry about that. Got
do you
carried
understand how
away.
dehumanizing this is? Did you know that the entire civilized world looks upon us with disgust? And they should. They really fucking should. I've been to many countries and they cannot believe that we perform these hideous sex crimes on our children. And then people actually believe that it was good for them. That having a big part of your penis cut off with a scar to show for it was good for their sex life. We bought the lie. We bought that disgusting lie, hook, line, and sinker. And then the worst part of it all is it compels you. It compels you to circumcise your child the same way you were circumcised. There's no such thing as sons wanting to look like their
Red
fathers.
Dead Revolver, my dude.
It's fathers want their sons to look like them. Otherwise, they will be consistently reminded of the parts of their humanity that were stolen from them when they see their child's entire genitalia. That is the darker psychological mechanism behind the "I want him to look like me" trope.
I'm sorry, bud. Wasp, I'm sorry, man. My condolences, dude. But you are right. Sue them. Sue your mom, sue your dad, sue your Jewish doctor. At ASAP, as soon as possible.
And then there's the taboo. The taboo, which I'm clearly oblivious to. Do you know how many times I've been called the foreskin guy? They don't call me the eye guy because I don't believe in gouging children's eyes out, or the clit guy because I don't believe in clitorectomizing baby girls. So too am I not the
Louise,
foreskin
clit
guy because I don't believe in
wouldn't
raping our
mind
children of their
being
birthright.
known as that.
Amputating the foreskin is no.
Moving on. Let me go to the next part that I wanted to watch. Oh, it's not too much far ahead. Here we are.
Christianity had the good sense to forbid circumcision.
The Bible bans it. Based. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, JC.
Yes, you heard me right. Christianity banned circumcision. In the New Testament, it says, and I quote, "If you let yourselves be circumcised, Christ will be of no value to you at all."
Based to Galatians. Based to Galatians 5. Thank you, Paul. Paul wrote those letters. Galatians and Corinthians and some other ones that I don't know. I'm not a Bible guy, dude. Do I look like Bellagio? Do I look like a Bible scholar? Okay. I just know Revelation 2:9 and Galatians 5. I know the good parts, okay? I just know the good parts. I know the parts that confirm my biases. Based Galatians 5, though.
That means if you are Christian and you are circumcised, you are in direct violation of your faith. Remember, circumcision was seen as the primary distinction between Jews and Christians throughout almost all of Judeo-Christian history. Now, for that reason, and that reason alone, Christianity gets a pass. Not even Christian. Islam, on the other hand, is the largest.
Islam, as Gavin McInnes puts it. Islam. They cut, but they don't suck, alright? Still bad. Still not based. Very blue-pilled. They also cut their women. A little based. Still gay, though.
Circumcising group in the world. But it also has over 1 billion people. And in their holy book, the Quran, there is not a single mention of circumcision.
Not a single mention of dick cutting in their holy book, yet they still do it. Can I get a retard check in the chat, please? Can we get an R in the chat for retards?
Because this group is so large and diverse, some groups circumcise, some don't. And they are not nearly as relevant to circumcision in the US. I am going to omit them from the conversation. Judaism, though. Judaism, the blood that courses through my veins.
Uh-oh.
The extreme act of sexual violence that is circumcision is not just promoted by this ideology, but it is mandated by it. Extreme acts of sexual...
What's up, Buried Axe Blade? Are you just joining us, my dude? You said retards, question mark. I said that because Muslims circumcise their young, even though nowhere in their holy text does it tell them to do that. Meanwhile, it started as a blood sacrifice to pagan gods in Jewish traditions. So it's like they're following their enemies' freaking sacrificial practices. Or their supposed enemy, you know? So it's like, it's a very low IQ move.
Sexual violence against defenseless children are pillars of Judaism. And we must shatter these pillars. And we must shatter them immediately. There will be no compromise. And if religious communities...
Oy vey, you better settle down, kid. You better settle down.
...do not comply, we will force them to comply. Just as we do with female circumcising cultures. Because they are identical. If they lack the integrity to stand up for their children, we will do it for them. Just as some of the more enlightened Nordic countries are beginning to do. Genital cutting is an evil that plagues the globe.
Buried. Believe it or not, this kid's Jewish.
Historians will look back and not be able to believe that we tolerated such radical acts of sexual violence in the name of rabbinic revenge for so long. Now, despite my fervor, I'm a reasonable person. I acknowledge that Jewish parents are trying to damage their sons in a very fundamental way for life, but that is...
Well, I got a watermelon IQ move.
is exactly what they're doing. And this ignorance needs to end...
Oh, Wasp. It's fucking tremendous. Believe it or not, he's Jewish. How else would he get time on stage? Not only is this not any stage, this is at Harvard, dude. This is a Harvard freaking amphitheater.
Immediately, lest Judaism continue to...
Yes, exactly. That's where the Einstein shirt comes in. Very tribal.
...embarrass itself on a global scale. Implication number 3. Our country has failed us. The United States has failed us. Now, there are anti-FGM laws. They were ratified in 1996. Not too long ago, mind you. There's no anti-MGM law. I wasn't protected. You weren't protected. We weren't treated like fucking human beings in this country. Now, implication number 4. Our parents made the wrong choice. I am sorry, parents. You were lied to. I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to shame anyone.
You fucked up, Mom. You hacked off my cock, Mom. What the hell, Mom? What's your problem? Why'd you hack off my cock, Mom and Dad?
Except the AAP. For what they've done is truly monstrous. But It is objectively the wrong choice. It is objectively the wrong choice to cut into the flesh of your newborn child and amputate large functional parts of his reproductive organ. That is objectively the wrong choice. And the fact that that choice even exists is insane. It is level 10 insanity. And the reason that choice exists is because our country has failed us. Because this country values religious blood rights over our fundamental human rights. Because of the influence of this powerful ideology. And as a result, we've all been sexually tortured and raped of our birthright. The magnitude of this crime cannot be overstated. Now, some people choose not to understand. Instead, they point a finger at the messenger. They point a finger at me. They say, Clopper, why are you so angry? Did your dick get botched or something? No! My penis is identical to the other 120 million circumcised penises.
And he makes a joke here. I don't really want to... I don't want to go into the jokes too much. This is a serious topic, you know? It's kind of demeans the seriousness. Let's go on to the next point. And so this is what I was talking about. At some point, he took his shirt off. And that was interesting. Took off his shirt at some point. So we'll get into that.
Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened when I finally built up the courage to confront my Jewish father about carving his psychotic and demonstrably evil ideology into my body, raping me of one of the most fundamental acts of connection with another human being for life? Do you know what he said to me? My Jewish father looked me dead in the eye, dead in the face, straight in the eye, and what he said, I will never forget. And he said, "You're wrong." I'm wrong?
And said,
I'm wrong? I may be many things, but I'm so far from fucking wrong! And I will tear our covenant to pieces to prove it! Do you feel my rage? Do you? Well, let me validate yours! Because it is fucking real, it is fucking justified, and you can draw a straight line back to the fucking rabbis to prove it.
Rabbis.
Well, now it is time for me to issue a commandment of my own. And that is this. We cannot and we will not tolerate Judaism in its current form.
Fucking based. So based. Whoops. So based.
We are done tolerating cults that ritually mutilate their children's genitals. And I'm burning my fucking boats on this, and you should join me. What they stole from me, what they raped from me, what they raped from us, has no price tag. There's not enough of this on the fucking planet to pay me back. They robbed us of our humanity, don't you see? This is fucking nothing. It is paperbacked by nothing, and that is exactly what it is to me. I would tear it to pieces, but they throw me in fucking jail for violating Title 18, Section 333. Because we live in a totalitarian state. We're not even free to keep our own fucking bodies. Well, they can keep their fucking money. What they stole from us was real value. Despite our scars, We are not their fucking slaves. Well, the time has come. The time has come. The time has come for all of us to agree that we must subject religion to law. And the solution is simple. We must ban all acts of genital mutilation without equivocation.
Oy vey, did he just say ban Judaism?
Let me repeat that. We must ban all acts of genital mutilation without equivocation. Now I fear that Judaism has too strong a grip on this country to do that. Now, despite my ostensible First Amendment rights, I fear I might be made a political prisoner, or worse, for pointing out their demonstrably evil influence on this country. Well, I've got a message for the more enlightened countries who are trying to ban this obvious act of evil. Denmark, Sweden, Iceland, Finland, Greenland, Germany. Fucking do it! Fucking do it, and you will earn your place in history for doing so, and others will follow. Do not be intimidated by these extremist groups. You have kids in your country who are depending on your strength of character to protect them from their own fucking parents. Because no one protected me from mine.
You guys in the chat, you're saying, put a shirt back on. That's what I said. Based in 33% gay pilled. Yeah, it's a little. Can we get a gay check, please? You're banned. The solution is nipple, says Axeblade. So Sheba says, lock the synagogue. And Q rightly puts, ADL is going to fuck his shit up. This was in 2018, and he did get fired from Harvard for this lecture. And he was in the physics department. He was a guy in the physics department, and he got fired for this lecture on anatomy. Which is kind of, you know, what's the deal with that, Rabbi? Harvard Rabbi.
And while you're all paying attention, let me convey the sheer magnitude of the crime against humanity that we have euphemistically termed circumcision in this genital cutting culture. When I was an infant, I was stripped naked and strapped to a board, and without anesthesia, my Jewish obstetrician tore the most erogenous parts of my penis off of my body. And as I screamed for help, my Jewish father looked on. It did nothing! Out of his deranged loyalty to an ancient and evil covenant that was designed to, and did, damage me in the most evil of ways for life. That is what circumcision is. It is one of the most evil things that you can do to a human being, and it was done to me. Part of my human body. Part of the essential human experience of making love. Part of my humanity. Part of our humanity. Was stolen from us! For what? For fucking what? To keep this satanic ritual alive? How is that even possible? Well, here it is. I explained it. I explained everything. And I am 100% unquestionably, irrefutably, unequivocally correct. Now, an ideology that compels its followers to mutilate its own children's genitals. Now that is evil. But an ideology that not only compels its followers to mutilate its own children's genitals, but is hideous and duplicitous enough to fool an entire nation to mutilate all its children's genitals? Now that is an unspeakable evil. Well, guess what? I just fucking spoke it. If you are an American man, if you take your penis in your hand, you will see a scar where you've been raped of essential elements of your humanity because of the demonstrably evil influence Judaism has on this country.
Oy vey. Well said. Even if you're not Jewish and you're circumcised, that's Judaism.
Yes, the Puritans are responsible too. But they're not a very relevant group anymore. They're not lobbying at AIPAC.
They're not AIPAC. The Puritans aren't AIPAC. Scarred. Duh, ain't it dirty though? Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Well, our tolerance for these ancient and evil ideologies is through. I will expend every breath in my body tearing this covenant to pieces. Consider this my official declaration of war on our fucking covenant. And I will recruit an army from our generation to wage it. Now bring your ad hominem attacks. I don't give a fuck. If you haven't figured it out by now, I don't care what people think of me. I don't. I care what I think of me. And that's how you should live your life too. This is the right thing to do. And despite my faults, and there are many, I'm not a fucking monster. And it would be monstrous of me. It would be monstrous of me to understand these hideous truths about our culture and theirs. And do what? Nothing? Just say nothing? No. I say fucking no. That would be a radical injustice to all of you, and an even bigger injustice to our children. Now,
Based. And then he closes it off. Such a good lecture. Poll version of Just Do It. This is Tommy Pickles all grown up. Cut your ears and eyelids off while you're at it. Exactly. That's the type of vibe that they're pushing. Here's also what I wanted to look at. Oh, okay, it's right here. This is very fucking dark. This is the movie I was talking about. So good.
Is this what we want to be doing as parents? Is this what parenting looks like?
It was muted. Back. We're back, guys. Mic check. Yeah, it keeps happening. My friend had a kid. He had a baby boy. And I'm like, dude, please don't do this shit. Watch this movie before you do anything. And he's like, oh, it's more clean this way. It's better this way. I've seen a lot of problems when people don't circumcise, which I doubt it, dude. These guys lie. This is the same guy who told me he had seen a lot of kids die who hadn't gotten the whooping cough vaccination. And it's like, there's no record of kids dying from whooping cough. So he's a liar. The guy's a liar. But I try to convince him so fucking hard not to do it. And he goes and he does it. He got his kid circumcised. So it's like, some people, dude, you just can't. There's really nothing you could do to help them. But this movie, it's on Netflix. You should look it up. It's really good. It's a very good movie. What we got going on? Let's look at Haaretz. So that's pretty much all I have for circumcision. I had some other stuff about the show. Oh, this ad. Let's just watch this ad real fast.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. Kiara, Valeria, you're in charge of setting up the database. Tali, you'll take network layering. And Isabel, you'll build out the front end. Let's do this.
Let's do this,
Meet
ladies.
Sammy. Sammy developed an app that helps chronically ill kids feel less alone. Meet
Sammy, she's also Jewish.
Eleanor. In 30 years, she'll be designing the next trip to Mars. And
Oh, so she hasn't done anything yet. You know, just putting out predictions for her.
Alexis.
Alexis. She's got 4,000 karma on her World Star Hip Hop account.
She started a digital magazine aimed at instilling confidence in young women.
When we create
If you look into like all the shit that the fake things, the fake accomplishments, they're all like nothing burgers. One of them created like a group chat for fucking disabled kids. That one made a magazine that probably doesn't exist. And the other one, they were just like, oh, she's gonna fucking plan the Mars mission. So that one hadn't done anything yet. And this one,
create opportunities for girls.
Code with Carly Kloss, scholar. Oh, she's taking her courses.
To stretch their minds.
She didn't do shit yet. She's just taking her courses.
We give them the confidence to change
She hasn't done anything yet either.
the world. She can STEM, so can you. Learn.
Dude, what a psyop. The Carly Kloss, the double Ks, by the way. And can we get Scotty Gesso in the chat? Scotty, can we get your analysis on this creature? Is this a male to female, Scotty? Paging Scotty Gesso. We need our lead transvestigator. Learn to code with a K, yeah. Carly Kloss, code with the fucking K.
Learn more at She Can STEM.
She can STEM. As as Sam Hyde put it, why don't you learn about flower stems and just pick flowers? Because that's what you'll probably be better at. Literally everything is MTF to Scotty. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's probably a little too biased on the topic. That's hilarious. Alright. Give me a sec, guys. That whole circumcision stuff really got my noggin jogging. She can code my stem and roots, says Arvin. harder than it sounds. Coding is hard as fuck. No, I have no idea, Zero. What did he used to go by? This is Street Fighter, yes sir. It is, bro. It's Chun-Li. You got it right. Chun-Li, level track 10. You know you're Street Fighter, my dude. Based. Axe, I'll do it. I'll join in. I'll tune in, I mean. Dude, a boomer killed one of Nightwave Radio's freaking fans.
Why do good things happen to bad people?
Why do bad people get away with murder? I have lost track of how many people have urged me to write a book by that title. And my response is, who would buy it? Who would you give it as a present to?
Oy vey, that cackle.
Well, it's too late for Mr. Madoff now, but he would have liked it a year ago.
I would say bottom line is, yeah, it's a very disturbing phenomenon. Most of the time, I think, you don't really get away with anything in this world. You pay for everything you take in this world in one currency or another. The Bernard Madoffs, even if he had not been caught, would have missed out on much of what it means to be a human being.
Sarah or Rebecca.
The guy who cheats on his wife and doesn't get caught and thinks he's really clever and he's pulled it off, will never know what it really feels like to invest all of your love in a single relationship. You pay for everything you take in life in one currency or another, and sometimes when the bill comes due, you go back and wish you'd played it differently.
Professor, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I once said that the rabbi had given me a wonderful definition of the word envy. I envied his royalties. And there was a sense in which he spoke and does speak to the fundamental question that we all ask, but I would write a slightly different book. My book would be, why do good people do wicked things? And the church is full of good people who are tempted and actually sometimes succeed in doing wicked things. Now, my tradition teaches that there's the doctrine of original sin. It sort of explains everything. You're all naturally wicked, and you'll do wicked things unless you're inhibited against them, which provides a very rational theology, but wouldn't preach very well these days, especially, I'm sure, in Hartford, Connecticut. But the fact of the matter is, the greater question for me is people who want to do the right thing, want to be thought of as good and virtuous, often end up doing terrible things. And I think of St. Paul's famous line, the good that I would do, that I do not, and that which I would not do, that I do. That's the human and the moral dilemma. And it seems to me that's the task to which, confession, forgiveness, amendment of life, all of that is directed towards. So that would be my take, but I don't think my book would do as well as Rabbi's book.
You want to add anything?
Yeah. There are things that a morally normal, even a very morally average or mediocre person would not unprompted do. For example, hold down their daughter at the age of 6, tear off her underwear, and cut her genitalia with a sharp stone. They wouldn't do that if they didn't think God was telling them to do it, or the mullahs, or if it's a boy, the rabbis weren't telling them to do. One of the reasons why I have the lurid subtitle I do, my book, Religion is a Poison, is that it makes ordinary moral people, compels them, forces them, in some cases orders them to do disgusting, wicked, unforgivable things. There's no expiation for the generations of misery and suffering that religion has inflicted in this way and continues to inflict, and I still haven't heard enough apology for it.
Rabbi, you wanted to add something?
Christopher, I've got to call you down on referring to circumcision as genital mutilation. My son cried more at his first haircut than he did at his bris. And statistically...
You weren't doing it right then.
Statistically, the only long-term effect that it seems to have on people is it increases their chances of winning a Nobel Prize.
I can't find the compulsory mutilation of the genitals of children a subject for humor in that way, or flippancy in that way. Maimonides says very plainly that it's designed to repress sexual pleasure, to deprive a male child as far as possible of the opportunity of that. The full excision, not just the snip or the full mandatory covenant is fantastically painful, leads to trauma, leads to the dulling of the sexual relationship, and can be in itself life-threatening at that moment. We have the records, I can show them to you, of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in the United States, boy babies who've died or had life-threatening infections as a result of this disgusting practice. That a person as humane as yourself can sit here and think of that as a fit subject for humor shows what I mean. Religion makes morally normal people say and do disgusting and wicked things, and you've just proved my point for me. Shame on you for saying what you just said. Shame on you for saying it about your own son, my God.
Let's move on.
Yes, let's.
What next? cutting the labia of little girls. At least Judaism doesn't do that.
This is a question.
What if a Muslim was to say to you just now, my little girl cried more at her first haircut than when I cut off her clitoris? What would you think of me if I was to say such a disgusting thing?
Well,
remember, we are not talking about detail here. We're talking about whether religion makes people behave better or not.
let's
And
give the rabbi a chance. I wanted to
deserve
move on, but let's give the rabbi a chance to respond to what you said, because it got pretty personal here. So,
Again, my experience in my own son, my own grandson, hundreds of congregants, has been that it's not nothing like what you're talking about, and that for whatever reason that this has become an issue for you, I just think is excessive.
What do you mean by that?
Oh.
What do you mean by that?
That I'm more personally...
There's an undertone of innuendo to this. Let's bring it on.
No, there's no innuendo there. What I'm saying is,
Sure.
you know, I've lived through this personally, and...
You've inflicted it, is what you're saying.
I've been what?
You've inflicted it, or officiated at it, is what you're saying, isn't it?
Well, officiated, yes. Inflicted, no. Forget Maimonides. Maimonides has his hang-ups about
I should
that.
forget Maimonides. Since when do you say that?
Because on issues of sexuality, Maimonides has some very medieval ideas. I ran across the line in your book that Orthodox Jews have sex through a hole in a bed sheet. Do you know Orthodox Jews who told you they have sex that way?
No. I say it is said of Orthodox Jews that they may do that.
all right, gentlemen, I'm sorry to break this up.
That's a Reformed Jewish rumor about Orthodox.
We have a lot of questions from the audience, and I want to give others a chance.
Notice how he.
Genital mutilation is no joke.
Notice how he tried to deflect onto something totally out, like totally different. He tried to deflect to something in his book that had nothing to do with circumcision or genital mutilation. And he tried to get out of that because he was caught in a hole, dude. There's no way. You can't justify that stuff. It's freaking... It's a bloody, occulty, genital blood sacrifice. CGBS. It's a CGBS. We're classifying it as a CGBS from now on. That was Christopher Hitchens of the old classic Hitch slaps. That guy's a baller. Hold on. We're going to put on
Okay, Finkelstein is owning
We're gonna
the
put on
hill.
Adam real
The
quick.
tropes write
I'll be right
themselves.
back.
Oh, another Angelo John Gage retweet. Here we go.
Restream.
Oh yeah,
Restream.
wrapping yourself in the flag, in the troops. Like, this was Trump's first tweet after the assassination. The American flag, nothing but that. And then everybody was retweeting the Israeli flag, saying you misspelled Israel, and this is a good meme. Did you do this one yourself, or was this?
No. Someone sent me this in Telegram. So anytime people send me stuff in Telegram,
It's like they live. You put on the glasses and you see what's really going on.
Yeah. When I said I fixed it for you, I don't mean that I made it for you, but I'm correcting the flag for you.
So all these warmongering cheerleaders, Zionists like Charlie Kirk, Shapiro, Candace Owens, Jacob Wool, they should go fight. And I said add Laura Loomer, Cernovich, Posobiec, Josh Hammer, and all the rest of the warmongering. So many people, this is a story that's going unreported, but this latest attack that I believe he's a Hebrew Israelite did with the machete at the synagogue that's at the house, which is one of their loopholes, I guess, to get tax write-offs or something. He was a literal Shabbos goy as a child, which means when it's Shabbat and they can't lift a finger and do any work, they can't turn on a light switch, he comes over and does everything for him, is like their little goyim slave essentially.
This brother did nothing wrong. I'm the first to say it.
Well, he's literally being treated as a slave, if you will.
Which top rabbis in Israel that are like in bed with the Likud and the government say that Gentiles are only here, God made us to serve them, going along with the whole...
That's got to be a psyop, that whole thing. Don't you guys think that's a psyop? That stabbing event? Based Blagman. Oh, how dare you. All right, what's BB up to? BB is still live.
Are somehow trying to take rights away. I fell for the gay marriage spell because I thought it was about rights. I also am very dubious of state control of everything. So I thought if a homosexual couple wants to be together and they want to be able to make decisions on deathbeds, but I was like, yeah, they should be able to do that. And they can. It's called a civil union. To say it's marriage has a deep meaning to people. To say that that is marriage isn't true. And so you can go with that if you want and make yourself feel better, but it isn't real.
What does this have to do with mud floods? Why is he talking about gay stuff again? He's always talking about gay shit. This guy is such a freaking gay.
You know, I made a whole series for Sony called Gay Town where I was this closet straight guy in a gay world. You know, I was trying to help better understand my dad, why he was the way he was, all this stuff. The pyramids have 8 sides now.
Can we get a gay check? Can we get a gay check, please?
We don't know now. There are patents for recipes that make those type of rocks moldable like concrete. Yeah, and I think the real dragon that sits upon us is the monetary system, because I think a lot of these construction company owners and people like that could get to that truth if the carrots and sticks in place.
I want to log into my other account and troll him. Or maybe I'm going to log into my other account on my phone and I'll show up in the chat.
You know, I saw that with this comedy club banning me. Like, the owner was really upset about it. Like, he was selling tickets. He was confused. He was like, what is this? And then you look to the casino corporation and then you think, oh, you could think there's people that are just out to get me. No, it's just a system that has a shelf life. And we can see the monetary system
talking shit
collapsing.
Talking shit about Big Bear.
You know, it doesn't, because it's not set in reality. And so if you give grants from the monetary system, free money, to people pursuing dinosaur bone discovery or evolution or the Big Bang, you're going to just get more of that. But it doesn't make it any more true. In fact, that abuse of trust and the abuse of money has led to a lot of people being disenfranchised with institutions and stuff like that. It's made them closer to their families, to their faith, to what matters. And so the reason I like the mud flood stuff, so maybe the Freemasons are actually about Masons.
Gulag,
yes,
son.
Yeah, and just like, that's why I don't have hatred to the Freemasons, because just like the Vatican or the Federal Reserve or Congress or the American education system, it doesn't take a lot to corrupt a group. Imagine a time, like Jews is the same way. Like, there's a huge battle right now between Jewish groups, whether or not it means Zionism. The whole Zionism versus like tribe of Judah stuff has been going on for a while.
The biggest Jewish battle on earth right now is going on in Owen's head, in Owen's old Jewish head.
Grabbler and all that stuff, because as a comedian, I have to be able to, I can't have protected classes as a comedian.
This comedian excuse is so bullshit, dude. It's so chicken shit. You can't hide behind the comedian moniker.
Man of many faces. It's the demon with 1,000 faces. Just like the hero with 1,000 faces. And imagine a time when masonry was literally just about masonry. And then, fun fact, dinosaur bones are also cast. Exactly. I mean, who would be a better group to take over to manipulate than churches and Masons? Like, Masons build everything. You know, churches instill morality, and then the education system. And then every level, you see good people trying to do good stuff. You know, I've had cognitive dissonance whenever I try to blame a group. You know, like I'll say the Jews, and then I'll Dave Smith is like one of the only guys that would have me on his podcast for this certain time in my life. Tyler Goldstein, you know, Dave Weiss, like there's all.
Tyler Goldstein, that guy's a snake. His hip to Wasp says his hip to shoulder ratio is 3-to-1.
Rothschilds and all these people. And so then you look at the Vatican and the Jesuits, and again, I've known some really good priests. I've known some corrupt priests. I've seen, what the Vatican has done to help people. I've seen it become an inverted imposter of itself. And so, from what I see, we are here to give gratitude to God, serve God.
I
mean, it's literally the only way out of these mind traps. It's like
I gotta go.
When you're doing what God commands, you can really have a good life, and things make a lot more sense. And it's not what your bishop commands or what. And I'm not, and that's why when I say follow the laws, pay your taxes, and some people were sending me all these clips of all this and how hypocritical that is of me to say it.
We're calling it.
It would be hypocritical if I said that the government will save you.
And,
it would be hypocritical if I said, don't follow immoral laws. Or no.
Yeah, Big Bear loves. Can I get my eye in the thing?
I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Oh.
What it is
Big Bear.
Don't lie to yourself. Don't say that the government will save
Is Big Bear buffering?
you, or Hollywood will save you, or your church is where truth comes from, or anything. It isn't. They're all corruptible, and
don't spiral
and
about
we
it,
shouldn't
guys.
hate them.
That's my favorite.
So many times these people
It's like
get
you
in
spiraling,
positions
telling
where
people not to
they can't
spiral.
get out, and they start off. I remember even Joe Rogan a while ago. I think he really believed it at the time. Was that you cut certain corners and you do this because there's real enemies out there. My dad even said that to me once when I lost my publishing advance, the money, a lot of money, for Norton Publishing. He said it was just because I was criticizing Lena Dunham, and they told me to stop, and I wouldn't stop, so they took $60,000 from me. But it was never mine to begin with. It's fine. Literally didn't care. But my dad said, why not just play ball for now, and then later you can say what really matters, like what's true.
This music fits anything he talks about and says, because he's fucking nuts.
There's a couple paths. I think one destructive path is the path of ultra-righteous, self-righteous, self-destructive, I know the truth path, where it's like, you figured it all out, and no one will tell you not to say certain things or do certain things, and no one will tell you that you have to have a driver's license, and that's destructive. I couldn't do that as a family man. I couldn't do that as someone who wants to be here a while, to have a good life and have a great community. And then there's another path where they start believing it, or they start saying, well, I'll give a little lie now. And you know what? Maybe they do have a point. Maybe they do have a point. And slowly you just become it until it hits you like a ton of bricks that you're just, you're in it. And let me show you what the mud floods were, in my opinion. So here we have something very interesting happens. And this is all over the world. You see giant structures on top of, like, whole cities are underground, like the catacombs of Paris. It's all over the place. Like, here's some more. When they dig out for another building, they'll see a whole other building underneath. And you'll see, there's a million examples of this. You'll see huge buildings like underground, and not like a basement, like there was windows and doors and stuff. And so what I believe the mud flood was a massive worldwide earthquake that caused soil liquefaction. All right, according to Google, soil liquefaction occurs when a saturated or partially saturated soil substantially loses strength and stiffness in response to applied stress, such as shaking during an earthquake or other sudden changes in stress condition in which material that is ordinarily solid behaves like liquid. Okay, so to play, conspiracy advocate, I don't know what phrase I should use. I don't like devil's advocate because I don't want to advocate for the devil, but one exercise I try to do in these times is think that maybe it isn't the worst possible reason why people do things. Like, why don't we have more giant limestone marble shit everywhere? Okay? What if there was this worldwide calamity where, Göbekli Tepe, the world's biggest pyramid, goes on, falls into the ground. All these people die. All these great structures go underground, and a lot of people died. And what if our modern way of building is less susceptible to soil liquefaction? I'm trying to not just always assume that the people in charge or the hidden hand is always just trying to kill us and demean us. I know that Satan does. I know that demons do, but
over the weekend, there was another horrific attack.
Buildings won't sink perfectly level. They would tilt, maybe. I don't have the answers. All I know is that a giant amount of soil and mud and dirt engulfed a tremendous amount of buildings all over the world. The amount of death...
Oy vey, whoops.
Amount of buildings all over the world. The amount of death...
Big stabbing attack in the middle of that. Oh, man.
But see, they think they're doing good. They think that they're freeing the world. They think that, all these manipulations.
Look into Big Bear's
that,
eyes. Just look into his eyes.
There's people that truly believe Joseph Mengele did good because he figured out more advanced ways of surgery.
He did good!
As he operated on thousands of kids.
He was known as the good uncle, you faggot.
I just can't understand that.
I mean,
some people believe that, though.
This guy's a maggot, dude.
And so...
I'm gonna have to
these
link
are interesting
the BitChute
times, man. It's very 2020 is about vision. The Great Flood, but the Great Flood is different. The Great Flood seems different to me. It seems different than the Mud Flood. The Mud Flood seems more recent.
Dude, why do I feel like I have to clean up his messes.
There was people in America.
I got to clean up the mess he made with Manson. I got to clean up the mess he made now about Joseph Mengele. Mengele was a great man. He was known as the good uncle, okay? He was fucking... Look up people's first-hand accounts of Mengele. They talk about how he was like helping them with the flu and shit. He gave out fucking like medicine and shit, dude. Look into Mengele. Mengele was a good guy. Fuck this guy, dude. This guy says he studied World War II in college. He doesn't know shit. He barely started looking into fucking the Holocaust. I don't look into the eyes. Yeah. Schizophrenia I'm starting to think is fucking contagious. And it's even contagious through just looking at people online. I'm really starting to think that. It's fucking it's so crazy. I don't know why it does this. This is a laptop I've never streamed on. And I just started doing the bathroom gulags on it. I'm in my bathroom, dude. This is my bathroom. That's my shower back there. And it does a face zoom on purpose. But anyways, take this out of this playlist. Loop it. All right, let's listen to more of his nonsense with the 28 Days Later theme music.
Everybody. Think about the stories of the American South during the Civil War, or what was alleged to be the Civil War, and how different it is from our historical textbooks. That it wasn't this really benevolent group that killed off 5% of the American population to just free the slaves. They just want, Sherman was, I don't know the ins and outs of the Civil War either. But one thing I know for absolutely sure is that General Sherman committed what would now be considered genocide. He was a war criminal. And people still know it in the South. And that was 150 years ago. There's families that you bring up General Sherman, they're like, ugh, they'll spit. Because their families remembered. And that's where truth resides. That's why I'll listen to...
Dude, let's just pretend like it's Mango Lassie, dude. I wish it was. But it's not. It's orange juice. But it's like from the oranges. Squeezed out of the oranges. Thanks, Mama. Thanks, Mama Ezra. Mama Goldstein. Dear God, why does this shit keep playing this other thing? I only want this in there. Unknown era. Whoops.
And
audio was off. You guys were just listening to me sip fucking juice. Sorry. God, this is a mess. What a fucking mess, guys.
You know, they didn't accept the Messiah. I just think they were more easy to manipulate. I don't think at all they're the root of any profound evil. I think that they didn't have as much armor as others. And I think a lot of them are coming to some of these conclusions. And they're saying, wait a minute, I don't want to be a victim for the rest of my life. Wait a minute, why are we special? Because a horror happened to us that seems to have happened to every group of people in the history of the world. I see that all over the place, and we don't see it in the media, so you get this feeling that no one sees it. And since there's more people now here, I'm going to play the Bike Thieves again. And then we'll wrap things up. I know today wasn't a funny one, but it also wasn't, I don't think it was too preachy. It was more just about...
It never is, Big Bear. Don't worry. We're not expecting a funny one ever.
And the fact that there were fireplaces with no stacks, like, literally proves that we had energy that we don't have today. Göbekli Tepe was intentionally buried, according to Randall Carlson. Nonsense, in my opinion.
Boom.
It would have taken... How do you bury that much of something without any... Would they use fucking shovels?
Check out my new flag, guys.
I just don't see it. I just think human motivation, like, why would they bury it? It makes so much more sense that an earthquake liquefied the ground. Why would anyone bury that? Freemasons are so easy to blame all of a sudden. Yeah, every time it seems like everyone's figured out who to blame, I always look the other way. Always. Every single time it seems like, and I've went down all these rabbit holes, man, all of them. And every time someone's like, I figured it out. Look at Freemasonry, look at that.
Flat Earth flag.
They follow the astrology and as above, so below, and every time all these world events happen, I immediately look somewhere else.
That I'll represent.
Because if someone thinks they figured it out, they didn't. Because it has to be just way more personal and applicable to your daily life. Like, I find myself, this is why I'm starting to laugh at a lot of these theories, because I find myself listening to, like,
to my face,
some of these intense theories of when something's going down, or, is the New World Order about, what to watch out for and who's the beast. And I always find myself saying, like, so should I pay off my mortgage or not? Like, I'm always trying to apply it to my life. Always. And I know there's a lot of people out there doing it. Like, I'll go down these crazy rabbit holes. Like, I want to understand the Jesuits, the Rothschilds, all this stuff, simply so that I can just plan my day better.
We're gonna
should I stockpile gasoline or not? Like, where does energy... And that's all I'm thinking about. I don't want...
Yoshi X Big Bear.
I know I don't influence any of their power structures. I don't want to be in their world at all. It is Satan. Exactly. It is. That's why the Bible's so crucial. Because it's like,
Uh-oh, we're buffering.
It really is the synagogue of Satan.
Welcome back to the
And it can shift, and it just hijacks, and it uses, because only humans can create. And when you look at these creations, it's unbelievable. Like, look at that. And I think what happened with like a lot of these secret societies is I think when they first, like look at Versailles, I think that earlier on in man's fall, not that we haven't always been fallen, but the secular fall, I think that was made by people that were eating the apple, as you can say. But it was during a time when man was much more logos driven and much more based in truth and faith and gratitude, and we were a higher consciousness at the time. So when these people got to manipulate humans, there's more crank, there's more energy. It's like the first time you do crack. You know, and because there was so much beauty in the world and so much logos and so much love and family and gratitude and fear of God, they could make these unbelievable things. And as time goes on, I think they're trying to suck out more and more from us. There isn't as much there for them to suck. Like there isn't like.
Shut it down now. Censor and kill.
It's almost like
shut the fuck up, go. You better sit down. Yeah, we are
like the first time someone gets out of a really bad relationship, 5 years, horrible relationship. Let's say like a girl with an abusive guy. She knows it's the wrong relationship. She's a really good person, and the guy doesn't want to look at her and touch her. And he blames her on everything, and she's just.
It ain't called hate when you love your name.
They're trying to shut us down, fellas. I'm gonna wrap it up. All right, you're here for life in the Gulag, okay?
Unless you live in clown world civilization, where up is down and the right. Is right and the war is peace in the Zionist matrix. They thought I had a trap in the cube, but really they are locked in this box here with you. There is nothing that a motivated human can't do. Take a bite of this shroom and you might learn the truth. We are the knights of the king, bring the fight to his name. Add a little bit of stardust minus the fame, and you wake up from the matrix in amazement like, where have I been? Where have I been? Like, where have I been? Welcome back to the Crystal Grips. Stevie Champagne, yo. Check it. Fuck the elite, sucking up our energy and making us weak, polluting our planet while they blame it on weed. Ain't gonna take it, fuck a gun. Confiscation gets the dumb populations to awake for this shit. Not anymore. The internet has opened up a secret door that's been hidden from humanity since way